In this video, I'm going to share with you a theory that I've recently discovered which, if used correctly, can create a cycle of infinite motivation, or if used incorrectly, can absolutely and utterly destroy your life. So, there is indeed a relationship between pain and pleasure. Pain and pleasure are they're like direct opposites of each other. They're like the yin and yang of happiness, the yin and yang of motivation. Let me explain how. When you go out and indulge in pleasure, like doing something like eating like really unhealthy, like going to McDonald's, or playing video games, or watching like a movie or something, your dopamine levels, obviously they're gonna go up and up and up and up and up and up and up, and they're gonna skyrocket. But then, as soon as you stop indulging in that pleasurable activity, which is gonna happen, your dopamine levels crash, like they plummet downwards, and there's sort of like a baseline that you started with before you went up. So when you crash down, that baseline actually lowers, like lower than the previous baseline before you indulged in that pleasurable activity, which is how your dopamine, I mean, this is very all analytical and like it's all theory, right? But your dopamine baseline lowers below that, so then you'll and this is like how addictions work, but like you'll indulge in like pleasure again, and then it'll go even lower, and eventually you'll just like become depressed from it. It's kind of weird how doing things that like make you feel pleasure are actually like they make you sad in the long run. Interesting how that works. Pain, on the other hand, and I don't mean like hurting yourself, like getting stabbed or something kind of pain. I mean like doing things that you're not motivated to do, like taking a cold shower or like working out at the gym. When you do the quote-unquote painful things, your dopamine levels go down because you're like experiencing pain, but it works the same way as before, as a direct opposite. Once your pain levels peak, and like you stop doing the painful thing, and there's like a crash, but there's like a positive crash, so it goes up, and then your baseline of dopamine is actually higher than it was before, because you took the ice bath, or you did the whatever, you lifted heavy weights. So now what we know is, if you do painful activities, your dopamine baseline level is going to be raised, but if you do pleasurable activities, it'll actually be lowered than your starting baseline. So yeah, it's kind of weird, but if you do activities which are painful, you're going to become more motivated, more like happy with yourself, more content. But if you do things that are pleasurable, you're going to look at yourself, you're going to be less content, less motivated. That's how this works, that's the relationship between pain and pleasure, and how they work as opposites. But how can you use this to create an infinite cycle of motivation? Now we're going to get into that. So what I've noticed is, if you endure pain frequently enough throughout the day, you do things which you do not want to do, your baseline motivation levels are going to rise. Now obviously there's going to be like a bunch of deciding factors in like how motivated you are, like your dopamine levels, they're going to change all the time, they're going to go all over the place. So it's not as like scientific or like perfect as I'm describing it, but if you do something like work out in the morning, you're going to raise your dopamine levels for like the rest of the day, right? So what you do is you keep, to combat like the things that are going to like lower your dopamine levels in the day, and like try and stay away from these things obviously, but there are just going to be things out there that are going to like raise your dopamine levels and then lower them again below the baseline. So what you do is you endure pain throughout the day, you do things that you do not want to do, so that you can raise it more and more gradually over time, and like have a higher baseline, a higher normal baseline than likely most other people. So that's how you can create a cycle of infinite motivation. Obviously, doing hard things is not an easy thing to do. It's literally, as I just said, it's a hard thing to do. It takes a lot of discipline, and there's actually a relationship between doing hard things equals you being more motivated, and being motivated equals you doing more hard things. So if you're going to do a bunch of hard things, you're going to be motivated to do more hard things, which will make you in turn more motivated, as I described before. And it's the same thing with pleasure. If you do more pleasurable things, you're going to be less motivated, and because you're less motivated, you're going to do more pleasurable things. So it's kind of hard to, the pain cycle is hard to create, while the pleasure cycle is very, very, it's very, very easy to create. That's how addiction forms, right? Because it's so easy to just keep lowering your dopamine baseline levels and indulging in more pleasure until you're just like at an absolute low, and like you're not motivated to do anything, and you just sit there all day. So if you're still watching this video by now, thank you, by the way. But I know this is probably not the answer you'd want to hear. You don't want to be told to, like, if you want to be motivated, you have to do hard things. That's not a pretty answer. Doing hard things is like, most people are trying to get motivation, like they watch like the motivational video, or they like pump themselves up with music. But then what happens when the music's off and the video stops playing is like, that motivation's gone, just like that. There's a lot of people who clicked on this video hoping like there'd be like this secret like answer that nobody knows about, like this secret trick, just like meditate for 10 minutes and then like say this chant 10 times and then you'll be motivated to do whatever for like an hour, and then you do it again or something. But that's not how it works. There's a very direct link between pain, pleasure, and your dopamine and motivation levels to do things. And a lot of people probably clicked off this video at this point because this is not the answer that they wanted to hear. It's like, it's hard to do hard things, but it'll make you happier if you do those things, is what I've noticed. And it'll make you more motivated. For example, here's my story. Back when I played video games, by the way, I haven't really played any video games in like the past 6 months, but back when I played video games all the time, like every single day I'd play like 6 hours a day or 4 hours a day maybe. It was like, it wasn't pretty. I wasn't motivated to do anything. I'd purposefully like skip my chores. I would only study for the exam. That's probably it, and I would study for like an hour. I wasn't motivated to do well in school, so I didn't do well in school. I wasn't motivated to like work on my fitness, so I was just like, I mean, I'm still pretty skinny because I just started, but I was like super skinny, like skin on bones. I literally had no pectoral muscles. Like it was just my rib cage. That was it. I just was not motivated to do anything. And then when I started like indulging in the dopamine sources less, I in turn became more motivated. I started doing well in school. I started doing like, I couldn't even do one push-up, but I started like doing like knee push-ups like in my room. And then like I progressed to being able to do like 30 push-ups in a row and stuff. I mean, actually I can't even do that many push-ups anymore because like I don't do as many. I've trained other muscles now. But like basically all I knew is everyone who I knew was strong just said that like they did push-ups. So I was just thinking like, I'll do push-ups. I didn't really know how the body grows or like how fitness works. So I just thought like, do push-ups and that'll train all your muscles and all your body, and it'll make you look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something. But yeah, anyways, that's all for this video. Keep on improving, keep on working on yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.